Hello, friends. I'm Lisa.
I wish I had a big house with Hello Kitty.
Aha! Do you have any ideas? Okay. For the cute car. I want a Hello Kitty car too. Oh, two cute cars. Lisa, let me put a sign in the garage. Kuromi's garage sign. Aha! What to do with them, Lisa? Give me another one. Lisa, make me another bed. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. own shelf. Oh, love it. It's so cute. Take a picture for me. Lisa, let's unbox with me.
Okay. Kuromi and the Midnight Kingdom. Chapter 1. The Restless Heart. Kuromi was never the type to sit still. While the town of Harmony Valley lived in peace and quiet, she often felt a spark inside her heart, a call to mischief and adventure. Every morning, she watched her friends like My Melody and Hello Kitty helping in the market or tending gardens. Kuromi tried to join, but soon she would be sketching wild ideas in her notebook. Maps of places no one had ever seen, stories of heroes fighting shadows, and dreams of castles beyond the mountains. Deep down, Kuromi wanted to prove that she was more than just the naughty one of the town. She wanted a chance to be brave, to be a hero in her own way. Chapter 2. The Strange Moonlight. One night, while Kuromi was out late by the river, she noticed the moon looked different. Instead of the usual silver light, the moon glowed with a strange, deep violet. The reflection on the water shimmered like a moving portal. Curiosity overcame her fear. She stepped closer and touched the glowing surface. Suddenly, the ground beneath her shook, and she was pulled into a swirl of light. When she opened her eyes, she no longer stood in Harmony Valley. Before her stretched a dark land filled with towers of crystal, glowing rivers, and a sky full of stars brighter than she had ever seen. This was the Midnight Kingdom, a place whispered in legends but thought to be only a story. Chapter 3. The Midnight Kingdom. Kuromi walked carefully through the new land. Shadows moved like living things, and strange creatures with glowing eyes watched from the trees. At first, Kuromi felt scared, but then excitement filled her heart. "This is it," she whispered. "An adventure, finally." She soon met a small creature named Lumo, a talking bat with shining silver wings. Lumo explained that the kingdom was under threat. The Shadow Empress wanted to use the power of the Blood Moon to rule both the Midnight Kingdom and Harmony Valley. Only someone with courage and a free spirit could stop her. Kuromi laughed. Well, you found the right girl. Though she hid it with jokes, deep inside she wondered if she was truly ready. Chapter 4. Allies and Promises. As Kuromi explored further, she discovered ruins of old castles and villages filled with whispers of the past. In the ruins, she met two travelers who would join her. The first was Nyx, a quiet cat warrior who had been protecting the kingdom in secret. The second was Alara, a gentle fox who could heal wounds with her songs. They told Kuromi that the Empress was gathering strength and the blood moon would rise in 30 nights. Kuromi, without hesitation, promised she would help. Her heart raced at the thought of such danger, but she also felt alive. For the first time, she wasn't just the mischievous girl from Harmony Valley. She was someone with a mission. Chapter 5. The First Trial. Their first journey took them to the Forest of Echoes, a place where voices of the past repeated endlessly. The trees were tall and black, and the air shimmered with ghostly light. Kuromi led the way, her notebook in hand, sketching the paths and clues. But the forest tested them. Strange illusions tried to trap them, showing Kuromi visions of her friends laughing at her, calling her too reckless to ever be a hero. For a moment, she nearly believed it. Then she remembered her promise and shouted, "I am more than they think I am!" With that, the illusions shattered. Nyx and Alara looked at her with new respect. Kuromi realized the journey was not only about saving a kingdom, but also about discovering who she truly was. Chapter 6. The Enchanted River. After leaving the Forest of Echoes, Kuromi and her friends reached the Enchanted River. The water shone like liquid glass, and strange songs floated in the air. When they tried to cross, the river whispered secrets into their ears. Nyx heard his past mistakes. Alara heard her fears. Kuromi heard a voice saying she would fail and return as a fool. Kuromi shook her head and said, "I don't care what the river says. We will cross together." She held her friend's hands. With courage, they crossed, and the whispers grew silent. On the other side, Lumo smiled. "You are stronger than you know." Chapter 7. The Village of Shadows. The group entered a village where no light touched the ground. Houses stood empty, and silence filled the air. Suddenly, shadow figures appeared, shaped like villagers, but without faces. They surrounded Kuromi and her friends. Nyx pulled his sword, but Kuromi stepped forward. She spoke to the shadows gently. "We are not your enemies. Tell us what you need." The shadows whispered that they were once villagers trapped by the Empress's curse. Only the crystal bell hidden in the tower could free them. Kuromi climbed the tower, rang the bell, and the shadows turned back into people. For the first time, the villagers knelt before Kuromi. She felt shy, but inside, her heart glowed with pride. Chapter 8. The Tower of Mirrors. Next, the heroes reached the Tower of Mirrors, a tall building made of glass. Inside, every wall showed reflections of Kuromi. Some kind, some cruel, some powerful, some weak. The mirrors spoke. "Who are you, Kuromi?" At first, she grew angry. She hit the mirrors, but they did not break. Finally, she whispered, "I am not perfect. I make mistakes, but I will never give up on my friends or my dream." With those words, the mirrors cracked and faded. A path opened to the top, where a star-shaped gem waited. Kuromi took it. Lumo said it was a key to the Empress's castle. Chapter 9. The Stormy Pass. To reach the castle, the group had to cross the Stormy Pass, a high mountain where thunder never stopped. The wind howled and rain cut like knives. Halfway up, a lightning strike broke the bridge. Kuromi almost fell, but Nyx grabbed her hand. For a moment, fear froze her heart. Then she remembered the villagers she saved, the illusions she broke, and the promise she made. With courage, she pulled herself up and shouted, "We keep going, no matter what!" Together, step by step, they crossed the storm. When they reached the top, the clouds parted, and the blood moon appeared on the horizon. Chapter 10. The Shadow Empress. Finally, Kuromi and her friends saw the castle of the Shadow Empress. It stood tall and dark, surrounded by walls of fire and mist. At the gate, the Empress appeared. She wore a crown of black crystal, and her eyes glowed red.
So, she said coldly, the little troublemaker from Harmony Valley wants to fight me? You are nothing but a child.
Kuromi's knees shook, but she stepped forward.
I may be small, but my heart is not. I won't let you hurt anyone else.
The Empress laughed, and the gates opened with a crash. The battle for the Midnight Kingdom was about to begin. Chapter 11. Into the Castle. The heavy doors closed behind Kuromi and her friends. The air inside the Shadow Castle was cold and heavy. Dark flames lit the walls. The first hall was full of traps. Arrows shot from the sides and the floor opened under their feet. Kuromi ran fast, laughing even though she was scared. "Come on, keep up!" she shouted. Nyx cut down the arrows with his sword. Alara sang to calm their hearts. Together, they made it to the end of the hall. Kuromi grinned. "If that's all she's got, this will be easy." But Lumo whispered, "This is only the beginning." Chapter 12. The Hall of Whispers. The next room was dark, filled with voices. The whispers called out their fears. Nyx heard, "You will fail your friends again." Alara heard, "Your songs are weak." Kuromi heard, "You are nothing but trouble. You don't belong here." Kuromi almost fell to her knees, but she shouted back, "I belong because I chose to be here. I fight for my friends, not for myself." Her words lit the hall with bright light. The whispers vanished, leaving behind a silver key. She picked it up, smiling. "Guess that's our ticket forward." Chapter 13. The Garden of Thorns. The heroes entered a giant garden full of black roses and vines. The air smelled sweet, but the plants moved like snakes. When Kuromi touched a rose, the vines wrapped around her arms. She struggled, but the thorns pricked her skin. Alara sang a healing song and the vines loosened. Nyx cut the path open with his blade. Together, they cleared a way through. At the center stood a stone fountain. In its water, Kuromi saw her reflection, not as a troublemaker, but as a leader. She smiled shyly, whispering, "Maybe I can be both." Chapter 14. The Shadow Army. Deeper inside the castle, they heard drums. An army of shadows marched forward, their eyes glowing red. Kuromi's heart raced. There were too many. Nyx raised his sword. Alara prepared her song. Lumo flew high, shouting, "We can't fight them all! We must find another way!" Kuromi looked around and saw a chain holding a chandelier above. With a bold grin, she shouted, "Cover me!" She ran, climbed the wall, and cut the chain. The chandelier crashed down, blocking the shadow army. The group escaped through a side door. Kuromi laughed. "See? Sometimes being reckless is useful." Chapter 15. The Throne Room. Finally, they reached the throne room. The Shadow Empress sat on a black throne holding the blood moon crystal in her hands. Her voice echoed, "So you made it this far. Impressive, little Kuromi." Kuromi stood tall even though her hand shook. "I didn't come alone. My friends are with me. and that's why we'll win. The Empress rose. Shadows filled the room. The battle for the crystal had begun. Hello Kitty and the Crystal Kingdom. Chapter 1. The Peaceful Kingdom. In the heart of a magical land, there was a bright and peaceful place called the Crystal Kingdom. The sun always shined, the rivers were clear, and colorful flowers decorated the fields. Everyone in the kingdom loved their princess, Hello Kitty. She was kind, gentle, and always smiled. Every morning she walked through the village, talking to the people and helping them with their work. The villagers felt happy and safe because of her kindness. Life seemed perfect in the Crystal Kingdom, but sometimes peace can be challenged by things that no one expects. Chapter 2. The Festival of Lights. Every year the kingdom held the Festival of Lights. Lanterns were hung on every street, and fireworks lit up the night sky. Hello Kitty loved this festival more than anything. It was a time when everyone came together to celebrate hope and happiness. But this year, something felt different. As the princess prepared for the festival, she noticed that the sky seemed darker than usual. The wind blew stronger, and whispers of fear began to spread among the people. Kitty tried to stay positive, but deep inside, she felt that something strange was about to happen. Chapter 3. The Dark Clouds. On the night of the festival, while the villagers danced and sang, dark clouds slowly covered the stars. The lights of the lanterns flickered and the air grew cold. Suddenly, a shadowy figure appeared above the castle. It was the Shadow Queen, a sorceress who had been forgotten by time. She wanted the Crystal of Light, the most powerful treasure of the kingdom. With it, she could control the land. The villagers screamed, and the festival turned into chaos. Hello Kitty stood bravely, but she knew the danger had just begun. Chapter 4. The Lost Crystal. The next morning, disaster struck. The Crystal of Light, which protected the kingdom, was gone. The once bright sun was hidden, and winter spread across the fields. Rivers froze, and the flowers withered. Without the crystal, the kingdom lost its magic. The villagers gathered in fear, not knowing what to do. Hello Kitty looked at the empty stand in the castle hall where the crystal had been kept. She knew she could not wait for someone else to save the kingdom. She had to find the crystal herself. Chapter 5. The Brave Decision. Hello Kitty gathered her closest friends, My Melody, who was gentle and wise, Kuromi, the cheerful frog, and Maru, the mischievous penguin with a brave heart. Together, they formed a small group ready for adventure. The villagers tried to stop her, saying it was too dangerous. But Kitty smiled and said, "The kingdom needs us. If we stay afraid, nothing will change." With courage in her heart, she put on her traveling cloak, waved goodbye to her people, and started the journey beyond the castle walls. It was the beginning of an adventure that would test her kindness, bravery, and the power of friendship. Chapter 6. The Enchanted Forest. The first place the group reached was the Enchanted Forest. The trees were tall and their leaves glowed softly in the dark. Strange animals peeked from behind the branches, curious about the visitors. The forest was full of mysteries and hidden paths. At first, Kuromi was scared, but Hello Kitty held his hand and told him to be brave. Along the way, they found a small bird trapped in vines. Kitty helped free the bird, and in return, it gave them a silver feather that pointed the way to the mountains. This was the first sign that kindness would guide their journey. Chapter 7. The Mountain of Trials. After days of walking, the friends arrived at the Mountain of Trials. The wind blew strong, and snow covered the rocky paths. They faced dangerous bridges, falling rocks, and freezing storms. Maru, though sometimes grumpy, proved to be very brave, helping the others cross a broken bridge. Hello Kitty encouraged her friends with her warm words. At the top of the mountain, they found an old stone tablet. It showed the way to the Shadow Queen's castle, but warned them that only hearts full of courage could enter. Chapter 8. The Shadow Castle. The castle of the Shadow Queen stood tall and dark, surrounded by black fog. The gates creaked open as they entered. Inside, the halls were filled with puzzles, traps, and shadows that whispered lies. My Melody used her wisdom to solve the puzzles, while Kitty kept everyone calm. In one room, mirrors showed scary images, but Kitty reminded her friends to trust themselves. Together, they reached the throne room, where the Shadow Queen was waiting with the stolen crystal of light in her hands. Chapter 9. The Final Battle. The Shadow Queen laughed coldly. "You are too small and weak to stop me," she said. With a wave of her hand, dark magic filled the air, but Hello Kitty stepped forward. She did not raise a sword or use magic. Instead, she spoke with kindness. "You do not need to hurt others to be strong. You are not alone." The Queen grew angry, but her power weakened against Kitty's bravery and love. The crystal began to shine in Kitty's presence. Breaking free from the Queen's grasp, light filled the room, and the shadows melted away. The Queen, touched by Kitty's kindness, disappeared into the light. Chapter 10. The Kingdom Restored. With the crystal of light restored, the kingdom bloomed again. The sun returned, flowers grew, and rivers sparkled. The villagers cheered as Hello Kitty and her friends returned as heroes. That night, the Festival of Lights was more beautiful than ever before. Lanterns glowed, music filled the air, and the people danced with joy. Kitty learned that the true power of a princess is not magic or strength, but love, kindness, and friendship. From that day on, the Crystal Kingdom shined brighter, reminding everyone of the courage of their beloved princess, Hello Kitty.